The most infamous crime stories of the 90s that still shock us today. In the 90s, there were several unforgettable crimes that captured the nation's attention. One of the most notorious cases was the 1994 murders of Nicole Brown Simpson, the ex-wife of former NFL star O.J. Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman. The trial that followed, watched by millions of people, ended with Simpson's acquittal, creating a phenomenon that is unlikely to be repeated. Tragically, in April 2024, Simpson's family announced his passing due to cancer. These incidents, along with mass shootings and heartbreaking celebrity deaths, remain etched in our collective memory. On May 27, 1991, the New York Times reported that a 14-year-old boy, who was injured, was spotted running through the streets. When the police arrived, Jeffrey Dahmer claimed that the boy was his lover and they were on a flight together. Unfortunately, after the officers returned the boy to Dahmer and accompanied them home, Dahmer ended up killing him. According to the Times, Dahmer went on to murder 4 more men, bringing the total number of his victims to 17. In July of the same year, Tracy Edwards, a 32-year-old African-American man, was seen walking the streets with his hands handcuffed. He led the police officers to Dahmer's house, where he claimed he had been restrained. Upon entering the house, the officers discovered photographs of body parts scattered around. Dahmer was immediately arrested. Found guilty, he received 15 consecutive life sentences. In 1994, Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate while in prison. Even today, Dahmer remains one of the most disturbing serial killers in the nation's history. His horrifying case inspired the 2017 movie My Friend Dahmer, based on a graphic novel, as well as the 2022 Netflix miniseries Dahmer Monster, The Jeffrey Dahmer Story. Pablo Escobar rose to become one of the wealthiest individuals globally during the late 80s and early 90s due to his control over the cocaine trade originating from Colombia. The Medellin cartel, under his leadership, was accountable for 80% of the cocaine shipments to the U.S., resulting in numerous casualties, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. Escobar eventually became a prime target for both U.S. and Colombian authorities, prompting him to flee. On December 2, 1993, in an attempt to evade capture, Escobar engaged in a rooftop chase in Medellin, which culminated in a fatal shootout. His demise signified the conclusion of Colombia's dominance in the cocaine industry. On June 12, 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson was tragically killed outside her home in Los Angeles along with her friend Ron Goldman. The main suspect in this shocking crime was her ex-husband, NFL star O.J. Simpson. Following a dramatic televised car chase spanning 60 miles, Simpson was arrested and charged with the 2 murders. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Simpson pleaded absolutely 100% not guilty when he finally surrendered in his home. The subsequent trial captivated the nation, with Simpson famously trying on the gloves found at the murder scene. On October 3 the following year, the verdict was announced, and an astounding 150 million people, 57% of the U.S. population at the time, tuned in to hear it. After just 2 hours of deliberations, Simpson was found not guilty. To this day, the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman remain unsolved. Unfortunately, O.J. Simpson passed away in April 2024, leaving us with little hope of ever uncovering the truth behind that fateful night. Gary Ray Bowles claimed his first victim, John Hardy Roberts, in Daytona Beach in 1994. After that, he went on to brutally murder 5 more gay men along Interstate 95 in Maryland, Georgia, Atlanta, and Florida. Interestingly, at one of the crime scenes, Bowles left behind a probation document, which ultimately led to his identification. Additionally, he was captured on surveillance camera withdrawing money from one of his victims' accounts. Eventually, Bowles was apprehended and found guilty of 3 out of the 6 murders. In 2019, he faced the ultimate punishment and was executed through lethal injection. In the months leading up to her tragic death, Selena Quintanilla, known simply as Selena, was at the peak of her career, captivating 60,000 fans at the Houston Astrodome. Her album Amor Prohibido was recognized at the Grammys for its outstanding Mexican-American performance. She was also in the process of working on an English album, hoping to break into the mainstream music scene. However, everything took a dark turn in March 1995. Just a year earlier, Selena had appointed Yolanda Saldvar as the manager of her fan club and boutiques. Selena soon discovered discrepancies in the finances and missing documents within both businesses. After confronting Saldvar multiple times, their final meeting at a hotel room ended tragically with Saldvar fatally shooting Selena. She was only 23 years old. Saldvar was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 30 years. Despite her untimely passing, Selena's song Dreaming of You soared to the top of the US Billboard 200 charts. On April 19, 1995, Timothy McVeigh decided to rent a Ryder truck that contained agricultural fertilizer, diesel fuel, and various other chemicals. He strategically parked the truck outside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City and then proceeded to make his escape in a separate vehicle. The devastating explosion caused by the bomb completely demolished the building, resulting in the tragic loss of 168 lives, including 19 innocent children, as reported by CNN. The FBI swiftly discovered a rear axle from the truck amidst the rubble, which led them to McVeigh, a former member of the U.S. Army. As the investigation progressed, more incriminating evidence against McVeigh surfaced. Traces of chemicals were found on his clothing, and he had even written down notes pertaining to the bombing prior to the incident. Additionally, the FBI uncovered the involvement of 2 other individuals who were aware of the plot and assisted McVeigh in devising the plan. Eventually, McVeigh was found guilty on 15 counts of murder and received a death sentence. In 2001, he was executed for his heinous crimes. Version 1, on July 27, 1996, authorities were warned of a bomb threat at the Centennial Olympic Park in Atlanta. Despite efforts to evacuate the area, the bomb detonated prematurely, resulting in a tragic loss of life and many injuries. The subsequent investigation led to the wrongful suspicion of security guard Richard Jewell, who was later cleared of any involvement. The true perpetrator, Eric Robert Rudolph, was not apprehended until 2003, and was ultimately sentenced to 4 consecutive life terms. Tupac Shakur, a legendary rapper known for his powerful music addressing social issues faced by Black Americans, achieved massive success with 4 platinum albums. However, his life was tragically cut short on September 7, 1996, when he was shot leaving the MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas. Despite his untimely death, Shakur's legacy lives on through 7 posthumous albums released under his name. The circumstances surrounding his murder, including theories involving his rival Christopher Wallace Biggie Smalls, remain a topic of speculation. In a surprising turn of events, Dwayne Davis Kufdi was arrested in September 2023 in connection with Shakur's murder, nearly 3 decades after the tragic event. Davis has pleaded not guilty, and his trial is set for June 2024. On December 26, 1996, Patsy Ramsey contacted the authorities to report her daughter, John Bent, as missing. She informed them about a 3-page ransom note that had been left on the staircase, demanding a sum of $118,000 for her safe return. Despite an extensive search, John Bent's lifeless body was discovered in the basement of the Ramsey residence later that same day. The murder investigation faced numerous challenges right from the beginning. John Ramsey had relocated John Bent's body from the basement after its discovery, which raised concerns. Additionally, the fact that John and Patsy were interviewed together by investigators deviated from the usual police protocol. Due to inconsistent accounts provided by the parents regarding the events of that night, the public began to cast suspicion upon them. However, in 2006, the Ramseys were exonerated of any wrongdoing due to advancements in DNA evidence. To this day, no one has been held accountable for the tragic death of John Bent. Version 1, on July 15, 1997, Johnny Versace was tragically shot by Andrew Cunanan at his Miami mansion. Cunanan, who was already on the FBI's most wanted list for killing 4 men, including Jeffrey Trail, David Madsen, Lee Miglin, and William Reese, ultimately took his own life as police closed in on him at a houseboat. The motives behind Cunanan's actions remain a mystery to this day, but his story was explored in The Assassination of Johnny Versace, American Crime Story in 2018. Phil Hartman gained fame during his tenure as a cast member on Saturday Night Live for 8 seasons. His portrayal of President Bill Clinton was particularly memorable. Additionally, he showcased his talent as a news anchor in the sitcom News Radio. However, it is his untimely and tragic death that remains a significant part of his legacy. On May 28, 1999, Hartman's wife, Bryn, fatally shot him while he was in bed. The police, upon arriving at their Los Angeles residence, heard another gunshot as Bryn took her own life. Version 1, at approximately 11 a.m., Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris entered Columbine High School in Colorado donning trench coats and planted a bomb in the school cafeteria. After returning to their cars and the bomb failed to detonate, they re-entered the school armed with firearms and opened fire on their fellow students. Tragically, they took the lives of 12 students and 1 teacher before taking their own lives a little past noon. The motive behind their actions remains a mystery, but this horrific event marked the deadliest school shooting in history at that time. It ignited a nationwide debate on gun control and gun violence that continues to this day. Thanks for listening, guys. That is all over with you. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. There is a lot of shocking story. I will see you guys again.